Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, September 29th. So we have the moon in Scorpio all day. We will see the moon go void, of course, around 5:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be moving into Sagittarius energy very early on Friday morning. Now, anytime that we're moving out of Scorpio energy and into Sagittarius energy, we definitely feel the shift. There's a higher vibe. We're moving out of emotional waters into action and fire energy. Sagittarius energy kind of provides us with the light at the end of what is a very dark tunnel when we are in Scorpio energy. Of course, it needs to be dark in order for us to face the darkest parts of ourselves, to unearth some unconscious patterns and behaviors that are blocking us from moving forward. And after the last couple of days with the moon in Scorpio, Sagittarian energy will be very welcomed. We also have Venus moving out of Virgo energy here today into Libran energy, into her place of power. If you have not listened to the astro forecast that I put out for Venus being in Libra, I'm going to recommend you go ahead and take a listen. It sets us up for what we're going to experience over the next couple of weeks with relationships, with love, with money, and overall just taking care of ourselves. So there are 12 different aspects here today, and 10 of them involve the moon. We have Mercury making a very positive aspect with Saturn here this morning. Now, Mercury is still retrograde, but in its place of power in Virgo energy. And Saturn, Mr. Karma, ruling over roles and responsibilities, structures and foundations, is retrograde in Aquarian energy. We have a lot of clarity coming at us. Things are clicking. We are seeing where new plans need to be made in order to build the bridge from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. Yes, this can be a lot of mental pressure because we have to have a little bit of a reality check on where it is that we need to boss up and actually give ourselves time to sit down, to make a plan, to strategize. Here we are just craving change, craving desires of transformation, but yet we are not taking the time to actually sit down and do the work, get disciplined, determined, motivated, inspired enough to actually come up with a plan. This is going to help us kind of get the ducks in a row where it is that we need to kind of contemplate very carefully our strategy in moving forward. Now, one would say, okay, well, what is it that we're supposed to be strategizing? Well, in order to be living a different version of the reality in which you wish to manifest, you have to have a different mind frame. You have to have a different focus, a different understanding. It all starts in the mental plane. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, in its place of power in Virgo, the healer, the solver, the solution provider of the zodiac. We are here to come up with a plan. Saturn energy is just bringing us back down to earth a little bit and showing us where it is that, you know what? It's great to want to change. It's great to be open-minded, but unless you actually do the work and sit down and formulate a plan, nothing is going to change. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Jupiter, Mr. Growth and Expansion himself. This is very transformative because we need to take a look back on where it is that we've come from, what it is that we've experienced. Again, may I remind you, 6 planets in a retrograde means that we are going back to the future, which means that a lot of the answers, a lot of the plans, a lot of the strategy, a lot of the focus, the vision, the goal, the dreams that we need to have for ourselves moving forward, a lot of the puzzle pieces are found by reviewing the past. Now, this particular energy is going to amplify whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And right now, we're kind of obsessed with trying to figure out our lives, trying to figure out why we feel so emotional, why we feel so chaotic, why we feel so confused. Now, Jupiter does magnify the situation, turns the volume all the way up, but he is also retrograde in Aries energy, which is a warrior type of spirit. It's time for us to really examine where it is that we've been blocking ourselves, where old pain, old trauma, old experiences, old memories are blocking the progress from us moving forward. Once we have this realization, again, aha moment in the mental plane, again, aha moment shifting in the emotions, according to the mental plane, then we can go ahead and be in the present moment, in alignment, in order to start planning and strategizing for the moves that we need to make moving into the future. 3:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Venus moving into Libran energy. We are definitely going to feel that shift. She is in her place of power. She is in her realm of comfort. We are going to feel a little bit of a glow up. We are likely going to feel a little bit lighter in our heart space, in our head space. Now, how long that's going to last, we don't know. Because Libran energy, although the focus is to find peace and balance and harmony within ourselves, within our relationships, making peace with some circumstances that have been thrown at us in our physical realms, we do explore those topics and themes. We do achieve those goals through chaos, through extremes, through duality. So we do have to kind of settle in to the chaos and the craziness in order for us to find peace, balance, and harmony. Again, go ahead, listen to that astro forecast, get a full picture, a full perspective on what it is that we're working towards while Venus is in Libran energy. The moon in Scorpio energy is going to sit across from, totally oppose Uranus, the Great Awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. Again, Scorpio energy, Taurus energy sit across from one another. The axis that we are talking about here is, what do we got to let go of? What do we have to kind of put a death to in order to have the space to create and give birth to something new, where new values are concerned, new routines are concerned, new relationships are concerned, new money matters are concerned. Right now, we're kind of in the midst of the chaos and the confusion, because again, chaos and confusion has to happen before the clarity comes. And Mr. Uranus himself, the Great Awakener, who likes to shock us and likes to throw wrenches into our plans, is trying to illuminate within ourselves what it is that we're afraid of, what it is that we're obsessed about, what it is that we're fixated on from a past experience where insecurities and doubts are now preventing us from actually moving forward. This isn't going to feel so good. This is likely going to be a jolt to the central nervous system, creating a little bit of anxiety. And the moon in Scorpio feels everything very intensely, very passionately. And we can expect to feel a little bit jittery, a little bit restless, a little bit on edge as we sort through these uncomfortable thoughts and feelings and memories in order to figure out what it is unconsciously that is actually blocking us from moving forward. When we can bring those elements into our awareness, we can override the system, we can override the program, the pattern, and then we can break free of this holding pattern, this state of paralysis, and actually go ahead and start opening up our minds to new ways of doing things, new ways of living, and of course, the new path that we have to travel in order to get a brand new result. Now, things are going to get a little bit heavy here because the moon in Scorpio decides to jump into the boxing ring with Saturn, Mr. Karma himself. And this boxing ring, this square, always brings about a lot of tension, a lot of conflict. Now, this tension and conflict is needed in order for us to see where it is that we feel trapped, where it is that we feel like our back is against a wall, because as humans, that is really the only time that we are open to change. Now, this comes with a lot of weight, with a lot of responsibility. We are essentially being crushed under the commitments and the obligations that we have made to other people. We are recognizing that in order to totally transform ourselves, our lives into a different vision, a different goal, a different dream, we are going to have to cut the cord with some people and some roles and responsibilities that we've outgrown that are essentially holding us back from doing what is right for us. And the Saturn energy being retrograde in Aquarius should be showing us where it is that our boundaries have been tested and in some cases totally destroyed by other people's wants, needs, and desires and expectations of us, and where it is that we can't continue to project our power and energy outside of us, giving it away to other people, and expect us to feel like we are empowered, we are in control, we are the writers, the producers, the directors, the starring role of our own movies. So this is going to create a lot of tension and it's going to create a lot of negative narratives. But again, keep in mind that we have to sit in the shadow realm of the parts of ourselves that we don't like, that we've cast away, that we try to numb, that we try to ignore. We have to illuminate that. We have to bring it up to the surface of our awareness in order to acknowledge it, to integrate it, and to stand in our wholeness, because that is where our truest power source actually is. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Mars in such a way that would suggest that we are able to see one step forward right now, maybe just a baby step, but baby steps still count. We are also able to see where irritation, frustration, and anger for this state of paralysis, for being blocked, for being challenged, is not doing us any favors. And sometimes we need that anger to act as the fuel to the fire, to inspire and motivate us to actually get our ass in gear and to make some moves. Now, Mars is in Gemini energy, so we have to be very careful of what we're saying. We have to use a filter. Again, our weapon of choice right now is our tongue, and words can hurt, words can damage, words can prevent us from actually moving forward. And Mars, who rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, even our anger, has a lot to do and has a lot to say. And we're kind of being stalled out by the universe right now, which isn't helping the irritation, frustration, and anger at all. But again, dig deep, analyze yourself. Be aware of the parts of you that are angered and frustrated of not feeling like you have control in your life, and use that to fuel the inspiration, the motivation within you to take control and power of your life back. And of course, if the opportunity arises for you to take action, to speak out on something, to speak your truth, to take a baby step moving forward in the right path, in the right direction, by all means, go ahead and do that. The moon is going to bump into Chiron in a positive way. This suggests that sitting in the funk earlier, really battling it out between our heart and our head, between our inner demons and our inner angels, is revealing where it is that we are making some effort and progress in actually moving forward. Chiron, being the wounded healer, yes, does show us our wounds, but also has the wisdom and resources within us in order to heal said wounds. And the moon being in Scorpio, the great transformational energy it is, we are able to turn this pain into power. We are able to turn this darkness into light. We are able to turn this chaos into order, this confusion into clarity, as long as we do not continue to run away from the ugly, darker parts of ourselves. The moon goes ahead and semi-squares the sun. Little bit of tension here. We are always in a, I'm going to say, very interesting position when the moon and the sun get together. The moon, our heart space, our intuition, our emotions, our unconscious self, very connected to the past, while the sun shining a bright light on what it is that we need to do in order to achieve what the sun wants us to achieve, which in Libran energy, we want to achieve balance, we want to achieve peace, we want to achieve harmony. How do we do that? Well, we sit in instability. We sit in, let's call it chaos, confusion, and we sit in a lot of conflict. Why? Because we have to appreciate where it is that we are at in the funk in order to find ourselves with balance, with peace, with harmony. That's how we make our way there. So the sun is the futuristic aspect of ourselves, what it is that we need to body, embrace, what it is that our life force energy needs us to pour into in order to get us away from some of the elements that are currently blocking us, currently challenging us, currently kind of stunting our growth. And what we're left with is this present moment, a choice point. Are we going to stick with the same old, and only ever get what it is that we've already got? Or are we going to let things go, Scorpio energy, let things go, surrender, put a death to, release, end? Are we going to let some things go from the past in order to free up a space, a new energy, a new vibration for us to embody the qualities and characteristics that we need to embody in order to achieve the peace, the balance, the harmony that we are looking to achieve in life? So we're left with this present moment choice. Does it feel good? No. Is it supposed to? No. Does it create change? Absolutely. And that's where the transformation begins. The moon is going to trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces energy. We got water on water on water on water. And what we know about water is that it is very emotional. It is very intuitive. It is very transformative. What we're doing here is we're trying to give ourselves a little bit of peace of mind, a little bit of a break in order to project ourselves into la la land, in order to grasp a vision, grasp a dream. Why? Because we have to constantly be reminding ourselves what it is that we're fighting for, what it is that we're working so hard for. And what it is this beautiful dream, this beautiful vision of the reality that we want to manifest. And sometimes we get so caught up in the ego, we get caught up in the physical realm, the physical circumstances, that we lose sight of what is possible if we believe in the magic of the cosmos, of the universe, and we trust ourselves and we trust the process, we trust the plan of the universe. This is very much a reminder of that. This is strengthening our intuition. This is rising above our ego and our physical circumstances here in this physical realm to kind of float off into la la land and remind ourselves that anything is possible, that we have the ability to manifest the vision, the dream, the goal that is making us feel happy, making us feel inspired, making us feel motivated to make these changes. And once we sit in that la la land, we can come back in this present moment in our physical body, in this physical circumstance, and we can gain a vision, a path, a strategy on how it is that we're going to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon is going to sextile Mercury and then sextile Pluto, its ruler, within about half hour of each other. Let me just say that this is a beautiful thing. Our heart and our head are on the same page. Not only that, but there's a shift in our inner realm. Our spirit is renewed. Our soul is empowered. Pluto, the great transformer, likes to do a number on our psyche. We have to change the way that we look back at the past in order to change the way that we look at things in the present moment, in order for us to change the way that we are going to perceive and project ourselves into the future. Mercury, again, being ruler of the mental plane in its place of power of Virgo energy, even though it's in a retrograde, means that we're coming up with solutions. We are fixing the problems. We are coming up with a plan. We are coming up with a strategy because our heart and our head is aligned now, because we just went off into la la land and we reminded ourselves of the dream and the vision that we're working so hard to actually manifest. This screams of a shift. This screams of inspiration. This screams of motivation and a brand new determination to not stop until we get to where it is that we desire to be. Last going off, the last aspect that we have of the day is the moon, making a very uncomfortable aspect with Chiron. Now, if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, that you know, every single time we take one step forward, one big leap forward, we're positive, we're inspired, we're feeling good, we're thinking good, everything feels good in the present moment. Every single time that happens, we have the dark forest energies that kick in, that try to pull us on back into the fears, into the doubts, into the insecurities in order to keep us into a state of paralysis. The dark forest energies do not want us to grow, do not want us to evolve, do not want us to enlighten ourselves. So we just had this powerful shift. We just had our heart and head on the same page. We just felt the shift within us. We just were inspired and motivated and determined to do whatever it takes at all costs in order to continue to fight through the present moment circumstances in order to actually bring to life the vision and the dream that we feel so inspired to pursue now. And then the moon and Chiron get together. And what do we get? Open wounds. What do we get? Fear. What do we get? Phobias. What do we get? The overwhelming, intense, and passionate questions of whether we have what it takes. Are we able to actually do this? Do we actually deserve to be happy? Are we actually able to manifest? Are we delusional in trusting the process? Are we able to trust ourselves? There's a lot to unpack here. That's what comes with the moon in Scorpio anyways. Chiron is trying to open up all the band-aids and pick all the scabs off that we just worked so hard to try and heal. And therefore, I'm going to just say to you, be prepared that when you feel this aha moment, when you feel this shift, when you feel positive, when you feel motivated, when you feel inspired, hold on very tightly to that. Take a snapshot of this feeling in your mind, because very shortly you're going to have all of these doubts, all of these questions, all of these insecurities, all of this ugliness come at you, trying to tear down your dream, trying to speak fear into your dream. And it's up to us to stay ahead of the energy, to expect that this is going to come at us so that we can stay strong in our mind space, in our heart space, to try to override the system.